Hi, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a 5-Minute Friday. Now, if you've not seen 5-Minute Friday, this is a series of videos that we used to do back in the day before the Ukrainian war and all of the ensuing sagas with sanctions and stuff like that. I want to try and bring it back because it's a bit more relaxing for Friday. We've got a very interesting story about a yacht that was completely wiped out, but the story goes deeper than that. And what has it got to do with the Goonies, the film from the 1980s? We're going to get into all of that right now. All right, so let's do just that and put 5 minutes on the screen and let's go. Okay, so you may have seen this footage already. It was quite weirdly shown on a lot of websites, and they tell a story about how a rescue swimmer pulls a guy out of the water, or he's in the process of doing that when you see what happens to this boat. The US Coast Guard was attempting to rescue a man out of the Columbia River, which does not look like a river to me. And now it's in the northwest of the US, hence the Northwest Coast Guard involved. And the Columbia River, if you're not from the US or you don't know, is connected to the Pacific Ocean, so it is has very treacherous weather. Is actually known as the Graveyard of the Pacific, which is a lovely title, isn't it? Anyway, this yacht is a 10 meter or 35 foot yacht. I believe it's a sandpiper yacht. Was in this rough weather. The search and rescue received a mayday from the vessel, and they were on scene pretty quickly. Now you can see initially the rescue starts off with two search and rescue vessels, but they deem it to be far too treacherous to try to go alongside and rescue this man from the boat. So they call in a helicopter. Now the helicopter just happened to be in the area doing training exercises when they got the call, so they were there very quickly. Normally they would winch down a man and pull the person from the boat right from the deck, but they said it was too dangerous, so they decided to put a rescue swimmer in the water. And you can see in the footage here, the rescue swimmer is swimming towards the boat. He almost gets there, and you can see the mariner, who we thought was a mariner at the beginning. It turns out he was not a mariner, but he stood on the stern of the vessel on there, and then this happens. So the boat is completely thrown across, rolls 3 or 4 times. Looks like nobody could survive that, right? But not only does the rescue swimmer survive unhurt, but he still manages to get to the mariner and puts him in the basket and winches him to safety. Now we don't know, this footage here shows a man getting winched and 2 guys giving high fives. We don't know if that is actually connected to the original footage, because on the Coast Guard's search and rescue website they don't show that footage at all. So it might have been because we got this footage from somebody else and they might have added that to embellish the video. Now what's interesting about this is this happened on the 3rd of February, by the way. Initially they believed this man was the owner of the vessel. Why would you not think that, right? But after the Coast Guard shared footage on their social media of this rescue, the local police recognized the yacht to be a vessel that had been previously reported stolen. So the man was then taken into custody. This is the man that they rescued out of the water. He was taken into custody and he was charged with theft, a criminal mischief, endangering another person, and unauthorized use of a vehicle. At the same time, or just prior to this happening, a house that was featured in the 1980s movie The Goonies was vandalized by somebody by dumping dead fish onto the porch of the house. Now what has that got to do with this yacht? Well, the man who was wanted by the police and the man who was rescued from this what turned out to be stolen yacht turned out to be the same man, and his name was Jericho Labonte. Now, so he vandalizes this house or the porch of this house, and then he steals a yacht and he heads out into the Columbia River. That whole rescue ensues because of what he's doing, right? So that's why he's being charged with putting people in danger, because the rescue swimmer was put in danger. But what a strange turn of events. That story took a weird turn, didn't it? But luckily nobody was injured, or nobody was seriously injured. But one of the things that I found funny was the article that we took this from was an MSN article. They asked the rescue swimmer, and he said he had no regrets. Like, you know, like, oh, well, he stole the yacht, so we should have just let him die. So I thought that was quite funny, but yeah, regardless, the rescue swimmer said he was happy to have saved somebody's life. We'll put links to the Coast Guard Instagram page and stuff like that below if you want to go and check it out. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope we didn't blow through our 5 minutes, but it looks like we may have done just that. So anyway, just one more thing before I go, just to remind you to check out our Patreon page. You can do that at patreon.com/eSysman. We're getting very close to 100 patrons now. You'll get to see exclusive videos not published on YouTube. You'll get early access to features advert-free, and you will get to suggest topics for future videos and ask questions for upcoming Q&As. I'd also like to thank our VVIP patrons, whose names I'll put on the screen, for their support. If you want to join, just follow the links and you can join up right now. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a great weekend. I've got a video coming out, a Super Yacht News video coming out over the weekend, so stay tuned for that also.